cream colored pants.
And I'm just gonna have to hand paint this sucker. I'm gonna post this video. I'm gonna post all of the whole problems, every bit of it. I kind of want to paint it on more stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Hi, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to do sort of like a thrift flip on a Facebook Marketplace find that I got. I'm really excited about it. I've been waiting to do this flip for a hot minute. And now that, I have the time, I'm going to do it. So these typically don't take very long. It's just a few days. But I'm going to teach you how I do it. So this vase here, I did something very similar, or actually it's like the exact same process. But we're going to do it on this big one here. And I'm gonna take you along and teach you how I did it, how I got this result basically, but we're gonna do it on this big one. So the thing with this one too, I looked everywhere all over, and let me give you a kind of a close-up. This thing's huge. But I looked everywhere, all over it to see if it had any maker's marks or anything like that, and it didn't. It was just like it's mass produced. This one says made in China on the bottom, and yeah, so I'm not worried about like messing it up. If this were valuable in any way, I would not be doing this DIY to it. I wouldn't be able to have the heart to do that to something like that. But I do have two of these. I got them both for $20 together. So like 10 bucks a piece. They're super, super heavy. They're like, I don't know, ceramic or porcelain, I'm not sure. They're pretty much identical. The other one has like more orange, I think, on it versus the blue. And the reason why we're only gonna do one today is I'm just gonna teach you on one, but I haven't decided the color for the other. If I'm gonna do the same color as I'm gonna do this one, or if I'm gonna do a totally different color. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. The sun it's kind of a cloudy day, so it's not super bright in here. My idea for the look we're going for is sort of similar to this brown color. So I usually lean towards black, and that's like my comfort color, but I wanted to do something different this time, and so we're gonna go with the brown. I did have a video on my TikTok where I asked you guys what color I should do, and most the comments that I did get, most of them said brown instead of like a cream or a beige. So I'm gonna do brown, and we're just gonna see how it comes out. I'm really excited. It's pretty easy little process. Just takes some time to like allow to dry, things like that. So we're gonna turn this huge baby into like a gorgeous piece of pottery that you would see from Olive Atelier. That's the plan. That's the vibes that I'm going for. And that's the hope, that's the big hope that I hope it turns out good. And yeah, so, let's get started. All right, so the supplies you need for this part is actually really simple. You don't have to have as big of a bucket as I have of the joint compound. They do sell smaller ones, but I already had it because of skim coating and things like that. And so that's what I use to cover the vase in and give it like a texture that sort of looks like pottery, if that makes sense. Like it was spun on a potter's wheel. So first thing I do is clean it all off. I want to get all the dust and stuff off because I just want the joint compound to stick really well. And so far in my experience, you don't have to scuff it up or anything. You want to make sure that it dries thoroughly and that the vase isn't dirty when you put it on so that it sticks really nicely. Just clean it really fast. I pulled my hair back because I do not want that in my hair. And if you're wondering why I want to cover all this up, it's pretty and stuff. It's just not mine or my husband's like style really. We don't typically like very loud pieces in our house in general. And this one was in this woman's garage, she said, for like a long time, like months and months, and she stopped using it. So now I don't worry too much about the inside of the vase. I will like probably spray down in it. Maybe I might leave it with, because it's just a cream on the inside for this one. The other one had like a red on the inside, but with how tiny the hole is on the top, I only needed to spray a little bit in there and you can't really see the rest of it. This one, with the mouth being so large, I might try to put some paper here and tape it so that I don't get paint all on the inside and it look cruddy. I want it to look nice. And you know, I feel like in pottery, you can have the glazes be different on the outside and the inside, and it's totally fine. And that's the look we're going for, right? Is pottery in general. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably just go to cover the blue with joint compound and try to be as careful as possible and then call it good from there. And I don't know if I mentioned this, I won't do the bottom either. I'm gonna leave the bottom just like it is. So now that she's all clean, I'm gonna show you the joint compound I have and use. And it's this all-purpose joint compound. Big bucket I got at Home Depot, I think. So I just use this. It's a pain in the butt to open and close because my hand strength is just not good. And I'm just gonna use this dishes glove, cleaning glove, because I usually use this like disposable gloves, but I don't have any anymore. And this stuff washes off really easy. So not in the inside, don't wash it on in your sink, but outside with a hose and it should come off just fine. I just use my hand to do this. I find that that's just the easiest way to apply the joint compound to the vase. And I just literally dig into it and grab some and wipe it on. I try not to make a disastrous mess. And I will say that this stuff does kind of smell weird, but just try to get it on. And then I do kind of like push to make these ridges. You could totally do this outside, by the way. Would probably be easier. I just don't, my lighting is really not good in the garage and stuff, so I'm just doing it in the house. I think at this point my husband's just used to me making messes. Now I try to just sort of don't even like worry too much, you know, about all of it or any weird bumps or anything like that. And you don't need it to be crazy thick either. On the handles, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do that yet. Maybe just like lightly, because I don't want them to be too hard to grab and pick up. And it does dry relatively quickly. I just like to let it dry for 24 hours all the way before I paint it to make sure it's fully fully dry. Trying to give the handle a nice look to it, go along with its shape it already has. All right, that's it. That maybe took me 20 minutes, and then I washed with my hose my rubber glove. All of it is off now, and I just spray the ground where it falls to like really break it up, and that always works out great because I don't want this stuff in my pipes. But 20 minutes and she's already looking like this. I love it so much. I love all the texture that it gives, and I like that it's not perfect. It's very imperfect because I use my hand. And you could totally use like a brush or some other tool if you wanted, you know, or do a different type of texture. You could like slap some stuff on there, you know, like really make it like it was hand molded or something. And yeah, to give it that look. So options are quite endless. Even with, you know, the product I used, you don't have to use joint compound. If you have like plaster of Paris at your house, or if you have, I don't know, anything really, like a fine cement or something like that that you can just like spread all over, mix and like spread, use that. You don't have to use joint compound or go get that. That's why I like this project. This is like such an easy DIY that you can just use things that you have, or if you have to go get them, you don't have to have as big of a bucket as I do, and it's really quite inexpensive. And then if you thrifted the vase on top of that, perfect. And I like this option too, because if you see a thrifted vase, a big one like this at the thrift store, and your thought is, I don't want to just spray paint it, but I don't like the look of it and I don't know what to do with it, even though I like the shape and the size, this is something that you could easily do, and anyone could do it. Like, you don't have to be super creative to be able to achieve it. It's literally just slapping some stuff on there. But we're gonna let this dry fully for 24 hours. It does dry quicker than that, and you could even come in and mold it a little bit more. I'm gonna give you some close-ups of it, the type of look that it has as I'm talking here for a minute, so you can really see what it looks like, and kind of what I decided in terms of the design, I suppose. Some of the areas already are drying really well and really nicely. And when it gets to that point, it's still kind of moldable. You can totally run your hands over those again if there's spots that you don't like, to give it a totally different texture, smoother texture, what have you. Once it's fully dry, I wouldn't do that necessarily, because you could start to scratch it off before you get any protective coating on it or anything. But yeah, options are endless, completely endless. Then we will paint it. We'll spray paint it and then add, you know, the character parts of it, which is my favorite, to see it come to life from what it was before to our inspiration that I'm going for. So, all right, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so we're in my garage. It's been way longer than 24 hours. I ended up getting sick. Our 4-year-old ended up getting sick and then had an ear infection, and so I haven't had time to actually come out here and do this until now. So I've got everything taped off down here, and we're just basically gonna spray paint now. This is well dry, like really dry, and now it'll just be using this color. So I didn't realize when I bought it that it was metallic paint, so we're just gonna roll with it and see if it looks good. If it ends up not, then I'll just go change the paint later. But if it ends up working out, then that's great, because I wanted a brown, and this one was the burnished amber color, and it's matte. I always like to get matte spray paints. So now we just paint the entire thing. This is the first time I'm gonna actually see the color that I kind of wanted for it. So I'm really excited. Okay, so I don't know if you can really see on camera very well, but it's definitely got some kind of like sparkly thing happening. So I don't know if this paint is gonna work out for right now. I think that's like the metallic effect. So I'm just gonna, this will need more than one coat, by the way. I usually do like two. So I'm gonna go around one more time with it and see how it looks. So far, I don't know if I might have to change the color of the paint. Bummer. Okay, so I don't know if I'm liking this color. It's very like purpley, which isn't my favorite. So I just don't know how I feel about it. Okay, so let's go check the paint and see how it's coming along. And if it's dry, it's been, I don't know, probably about an hour or so, maybe a bit longer. It's definitely dry. Okay, so it definitely has like this sparkliness to it. I do not like it. It got darker, that's for sure, but I don't like it. I don't like the color. I think I'm gonna take it inside and then we can, you know, check out what it looks like in the light inside. It looks so purpley. It's so purple. It's like purple and silver. Ugh. Okay, so we're in my basement. I think it's safe to say that I hate the color. So I'm downstairs trying to see what paint I have that's not spray paint necessarily, but maybe I've got like some brown or something. I don't think I do. Okay, so if you remember, this is kind of the vibe for the brown that I wanted. The inspo was this pot I thrifted, or this little jug that I thrifted. And that's just not it. That color is not this. So we need to find this. Okay, so little adjustment on the color. This one obviously did not work out. It just looks really cheap and I hate it. That's fine. It just wasn't the right kind of paint for this project anyways. I just had it, so I wanted to try it. Went back to Home Depot and I had this paint sample also that really was close and dark to, like, in comparison to the vase that I want to kind of replicate color-wise. And so I went to Home Depot and I looked at the spray paints as well, and I made sure to get a regular like matte paint that wasn't like metallic. And the closest in color that I could really find for the darkness of it was dark truffle. So we're gonna try this, we're gonna paint again, and hopefully it'll turn out better this time. You know, which is fine. I didn't want to leave out the mistake that I made because I feel like that's fine, you know, if your ideas don't always work out, just go back to the drawing board, you know, and that's what we did. We're just gonna try this color now and see if this color is the right one. Okay, so even though I did end up getting both a spray paint and a regular paint, I wanted to try the spray paint first because that's just faster, you know, than hand painting. So we'll see, we'll come back and we'll look and see if this was the right color or not. I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll come and do a second coat so I can make sure that all that metallic paint is really nice and covered. And then we'll see how the color is looking up against the base color. And then we'll go from there. So more drying and more waiting. All right, so it's still not as dark. But I think I might roll with it. I don't know. I might just go get my black paint. I'm really starting to second guess this decision of the brown, because it's like there's not a dark enough brown that exists. It's just so light colored. It's a little disheartening, I gotta say. Okay, so I'm gonna do attempt number 3 now, because this is just still not feeling right in terms of color. I have this paint sample in the color Potting Soil by Bear, and it was darker. Here's like what it kind of looks like dry. It's just a little darker, so I'm gonna see if this is better. And it has like a much nicer undertone color. You know, I would say probably closer to green, whereas this is very purple. Pulling purple. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let's see. This might be better. So what I'm gonna do is paint a little like swatch. Sorry if people are doing yard work everywhere. But I'm gonna paint a little swatch, and then we'll come back once it's dry and see if that color just suits it better. Okay, I wanted to try to give you a little closer look if I can on the difference in color. And I had to go change my pants because, you know, if you were thinking the whole time, girl, why are you wearing cream colored pants and you're spray painting? And I'm going to tell you, I live my life on the edge. So I just do it, and then I deal with the consequences. So those are the wash. I put on my spray paint, or my paint sweatpants, which I should have done, but I didn't. Okay, so I wanted to try my best to show you the difference in the color. Now, it's not huge, okay? And it might be really difficult for me to pick it up on camera, but I'm going to try. Okay, I brought the vase into some better light so that way you can really see the difference in the color between Potting Soil and dark truffle. I really like the Potting Soil a lot more. The undertone just, yes, this is brown. I mean, it's brown. It's a good brown, the dark truffle. But this, to me, I think will go better with our decor anyways, because I have lots of greens and things, and I tend to gravitate more towards green, and so I just feel like this is going to be the better choice, and painting it in that, and then having that base will be really nice for the color. But you can definitely see the color difference better in this lighting. So it's just super dark in the garage. So, after a couple of attempts to paint her, right, I've decided on going with the Potting Soil color, which is this one at the top. And I'm just going to have to hand paint this sucker because I have tried and tried and tried. We're just going to roll with it and have that be the color, because I can't do a whole other round of trying to find the right paint color. Like, this is just... This has to be it. Oh man. I'm gonna post this video. I'm gonna post all of the whole problems, every bit of it, because why not? Okay. This one's gonna be so much cuter. This color, you know? color, perfect. I love this color. When it first goes on, it kind of looks like mud or dirt or something, which I mean kind of makes sense because the color is called potting soil. But the end result after it dries, like I really am obsessed with this color. I kind of want to paint it on more stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I know that it was a bit of trial and error to find the right color for this, but I think that's kind of the beauty of projects like this. You know, if you think you're gonna go with one color and then you're like, this just really doesn't work, it's fine to just change it up. So again, to remind you, this is potting soil from Bear paint at home. You can get it at Home Depot. And you have to paint it on because they don't have it in a spray paint. Obviously, spray paint would be much easier. Like getting around these handles and trying to get inside was kind of a pain in the butt, but I made it work and that's fine. And that's what we do sometimes. You know, you just gotta make it work when you have vision. But the other colors, you know, the first one, and my husband and I both agreed, like it made it look so cheap. And that's not a knock on the paint. It was just not the right paint for this project. And then the next color that I chose, the I think it's dark truffle. It was just not as dark, and the undertone of it was just too purple. Like my husband and I both, again, you know, I get his input on so many of my projects, so I was just like, this is purpley, right? Like this doesn't look good for like our decor, our house, like it doesn't flow. And so when I put the potting soil on top, he was like, yeah, you know, we both were just like, yep, that's it, that's the color. And you know, so I painted it the whole thing as you saw. So the next step, honestly, is one of the easiest as well. Like, I mean, all of it's easy, but this is probably the easiest one. Now I will say, do not use potting soil or like compost or anything that you have around in baggies. I did that with this one the first time. It really doesn't work out. It just like falls right off. It doesn't color it the way that you would want it to, you know, give it that dirty type of feel. It doesn't do any of that, and it just wipes right off. And when you go, like after it's dry, I'll show you. But anyway, it just doesn't work. So don't use that. You really need real dirt, like from the ground. So with it being summertime and everything right now, or like when it was spring, we get our yard aerated every year, like during springtime, and then I think once again at the fall time. And I just went and grabbed the little pellets that come out of the ground, like some of them from the yard, and those work perfectly. That's what I did with this, and then I grabbed some this year for this pot. So hopefully we have enough. If not, I've been gardening outside, planting like little things like trees and things. So I have some dirt from the ground laying around in places so that I can go grab from there if we need to cover it more. And you can like play around with how much coverage you want on it also, which is really nice. It just needs to be moist. And we have clay soil, which I think just gives it that another layer of, you know, almost authenticity, but not, because it's obviously, this is a dupe. It's not like something, this is a DIY. It's not authentic. But I think that having the clay soil really helps with the nice coloring and stuff. You know, so we'll see how this pot comes out. And that's all that's left to do on this for now. And then we'll just seal it all up and be done. And I'm really excited because I feel like I was getting a little frustrated with the whole not being able to find a color. And I really wanted to try not to do black. Even though this is really dark, I know that it's not black. It still goes with all the colors. I think it really pulls from the colors here really well for what I wanted to go for. I didn't want an exact match to this, you know, because this does have a little more red and it does have purpley in it, but I still wanted it dark like that one. And so I think this color really, really does that, you know? So let's go get the mud on it, so that way we can spray it with the sealer and get it styled up, because I really want to see it all done and everything. So I'm excited. Okay, we're going to go to the garage for that though, because it's mud, like you. Okay, welcome back to my garage. The filthy mess that it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you the little pellets. See, this is kind of, oops. Okay. See, this is kind of what they look like. You know what I mean when I was saying they kind of look like poo? They actually look like poo. So I get them from the front yard because we have dogs, and getting them from the backyard probably wouldn't be the smartest idea. So we're just going to, these have been sitting for a while, so they're quite hard. I'm just going to kind of get them a bit wet and we'll rub them all over the pot. It's as simple as that. Okay, and obviously if you don't want like dirt in your house or anything like that, then this method can also be achieved by paint. If you find a nice paint color you want to do, there's lots of tutorials out there if you don't want to use dirt like I am. I don't mind it. It gets sealed. It's not falling off. It's not getting all over the house. So I don't mind using it. This is my preferred method, but that you can do just some paint as well if you really just don't want to do this and it grosses you out. I totally understand. So now this is a little bit more like yucky. This is why I did not do my nails today. Okay. And I think I kind of want to concentrate like a lot of the dirt, like, you know, where dirt would naturally be. There we go. Get it all over. You know, I don't know. We'll see when it dries, but you just sort of rub it in. Get it on there, you know? And I feel like dirt would really accumulate right here in the handle. Don't worry about clumps and, you know, all that or whatever. Once this dries, we're gonna sort of dust it off a little bit to get bigger chunks off. Don't take it too seriously, you know? Okay, so it is thoroughly covered. I did make sure to really get the bottoms as well. I mean, my hand is disgusting, you know, so I feel like there's just no rhyme or reason. And then we can cut, you know, to this method, you just kind of rub it on there and wherever you feel, you know, and then we'll come back out. And then if you feel like once this is dry that it needs more dirt somewhere else, then put more, you know, until you like the way it looks. Or if you don't like it somewhere, try to dust it off. Or you can even take a wet washcloth and try to wipe it off until you achieve like the look that you want. Now I just kind of rub it all over because I want to make it look like it was just sitting outside for a long time. And then I brought it in my house. So I rub it everywhere. And then I tried to really concentrate a lot on the handles. The handles here, you know, like really get the dirt all up in those areas and on the bottom here. So once it's dry, we'll come back and see how she's looking. Okay, so this is what she's looking like after, you know, about an hour or so of letting it dry. We're just gonna dust it all off. Parts that where it's pretty thick, it's not all the way dry, but I'm still gonna try to like dust it off and see if it's ready to be sprayed. And then, like I said, if there's parts you don't like, that you just want like more of the mud on, you just kind of, you know, bit closer so you can see like what it's looking like. Obviously these thicker parts are not dry yet, but look at how that just looks so good, like aged wise. You know, I've rubbed off all the big pieces that were just kind of stuck on there, and they fall away like this. And then, you know, same with these bits, I'll do the same thing. But look at how just like kind of caked that is right there. Looks so nice. And then you've got other parts that aren't. And when you spray this too, some of this will go away also. So you never kind of know what it's going to turn out like until it's all the way dry, which is so awesome. I just love it. And then these parts where the joint compound created the little lip here, looks so good. I just love like that kind of texture, that sort of thing. And then on the inside here, this is going to look fantastic also, I think. You know, it's just so, I love this technique. This is why I use dirt, honestly, because I cannot replicate that. Okay, like I feel like I'm a pretty talented individual when it comes to crafting. I can't replicate this with paint. So this is why I use dirt, because it comes out so just good. It's like the dirt just chooses where it wants to be, where it wants to live, and that's where it sits. Okay, so now this part is pretty self-explanatory. After you've wiped everything off and you've got it how you want it, and everything is dry, then we're just gonna seal all of it. So that way, none of it you don't have dirt just like tracking around your house or dusting up your house or anything. So I'm not gonna put water in this. You know, it's just kind of a decorative vase, maybe for sticks or something. I wouldn't put a bunch of flowers in this necessarily. Or if I do need something that has water, I'll probably take a vase and place it inside with water, or just carefully fill it with water. So I'm not going to waterproof it necessarily now. I will seal it with a clear top coat that I'll show you in a minute, but if you want it truly waterproof, make sure that whatever sealer that you're going to be using is something that will waterproof the finish for you, so that way you're not accidentally wiping anything off when you're cleaning it or dusting it or what have you. So let me get the spray. All right, so this is the spray that I'm going to use today. It's just a clear matte top coat, and it's pretty simple. You just spray it on like you would any kind of spray paint. Just try to do it evenly. I might do 2 coats of this, maybe 3.
Oh, to be a kid again, to feel the sun upon my skin, to laugh and play until the sun goes down. Oh, to feel the little joys, to never make one single choice, and know that nothing's gonna stress me out. Oh, at least for now. Oh, to be a kid again, to feel the breeze creep up my skin, to be so full of life and without care. ones that we can't seem to see. 'Cause everyone around us has gone blind. Oh, we're not sure why.
Okay, so that is the whole tutorial. You know, if you stuck around this long, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed it, even the bumpiness along the way. But I think that just goes to show that this kind of stuff is really quite easy, and you don't have to be super skilled or crafty in order to achieve what you would like. And I think it just shows as well like how easy it is to kind of fix stuff if you're picking the wrong paint color, or if you're not liking how the joint compound is going on and you want to kind of sand it down a little bit or whatever, you know, or even the dirt, wiping it off in places you might feel like it's not necessarily where you want it. I just like the ease of these kinds of projects, and I love that you don't have to take it too seriously either. You can just kind of play around and experiment and like kind of let your creativity flow, which is really fun. I'm really happy that I finally got this one done. I'm obsessed with the color. I love how it came out. I love how the dirt is laying on all of the little pieces of it, and I cannot wait to get it styled up in other places in the house and just be able to use it and move it around. I love doing that with my decor, and I'm excited to see it in Christmas time and maybe get something else in there. So I'm just really happy, I think, with the outcome, even though it took me forever and I was struggling a little at the beginning. I thought, hey, let's try this thing out that I have, when I knew it wasn't going to work out, but I did it anyway, and that's fine. I'm happy with how it turned out now, so that's good. I'm excited, like I said, to get it styled up in different places whenever the house gets a little more done in certain areas, like maybe our bathroom I think would be really beautiful, like on the counter, just something big and pretty. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you were able to sort of laugh at me a little bit, laugh with me a little bit at my little mess ups. But you know, all in all, it's just meant to be fun, and hopefully you got something from it, and hopefully you just feel a little inspired to go and work on your own vases or vessels that you find thrifting. My husband just got home, so I'm gonna leave it here for now. See you later. Bye.